I get questions often like, isn't it hard to eat plant-based when you're moving all the time and like finding food to eat? And I thought, you know, it's always hard to find food to eat, but it's easier when you're looking for plant-based food, funny enough. Meats can taste gamey and chicken can be really gristly and dry, and so it's hard to find ones that are familiar enough tasting and good quality that you like, let alone treated well before they were raised so that you know you're getting decent nutrition and animal welfare and all that other stuff. So it's a lot easier to get beans, and there's often a variety too, because I mean almost I can't think of anywhere in the world that doesn't eat beans, and just the variety that's everywhere, especially here in Tanzania. There's so many different types of beans. I'm a beans and rice girl. I love beans and rice. They do some really great things with beans and rice here, and I find it super comforting and delicious. Check out this recipe for how they do beans here in Tanzania. Right, these are called cocoa rose beans. I've only seen these here in Tanzania. There's such a neat variety of different types of beans here. If you're making this recipe at home, I think you could use red beans or pinto beans for this recipe and find really great results. All right, after a 24-hour soak to hopefully get rid of some of the stuff that'll make us gassy, and draining off that water, I've cooked my beans, and then I've drained off most of the liquid, but not all. You can see there's quite a bit still there. I keep that because it kind of makes things a little bit creamy. If you don't remember to keep the water and liquid stuff, you can always add more water into your pot. I like to cook these in advance and then have them ready to be able to do whatever I want to later on the week. And I'll just have like maybe one in the fridge and one in the freezer. And then they're fairly quick to thaw out and get ready for a meal. All right, while I'm waiting for my pot to heat up, because the stove just doesn't heat up as fast as my last one, I'm going to start up my rice. I like to do about half coconut milk and half water into my rice, and then I'll just add in a speck of salt. This is really flavorful and it gets the fats in that we need. Preferably we wouldn't use canned coconut. We would probably use something that would be made by hand where they kind of make it fresh here, which we'll show you another time. But this is a really fair enough substitute. First, I'm going to take about a half a cup of some chopped up onion and about 2 garlic cloves, and I'm going to heat it up in my pot here with a couple teaspoons of oil. I'm just going to stir these around and saute them a bit until they start getting more fragrant and break down in color. One thing I've noticed about cooking with Tanzanian ingredients is they like to add either a coconut or a peanut butter to get a natural occurring fat in their food to make it last longer in your stomach and kind of give you that energy that you're going to need. When you're doing a lot of plant-based cooking, it's really important to get those whole grains and those natural occurring fats to help you to feel satiated and to get those nutrients that your body needs so that you don't get too hungry or tired. It's all about balance. Now you certainly could just cook up your beans in the pot if you like, but I like to pre-cook mine, so I'm going to add them now. And I'm also going to add in 1 large tomato that I've diced up. Right, preferably you would have salted your beans while you were cooking them in the pressure cooker or however you do it beforehand. But I find I always kind of underdo it. So I'm adding just a little bit more right now to make sure that salty beans are salty, because they need to be salty. All right, we're getting our pot hot here. And what I'm looking for is just for my tomatoes to kind of break down, and I want this to kind of get a creamy-ish texture. So a little bit of stirring here and there to break down just a few of the beans is a good idea. We're not making them soupy, but we're making them a little bit creamy. We don't want them to be a dry bean at all. Okay, at this point you can see we've kind of got like a creaminess to this sauce, and it's just it's not a dry bean anymore. It's just got a little bit of a texture to it that'll make it enjoyable to eat. At this point we could add in a couple spoonfuls of peanut butter, or you could even add in a little bit of coconut milk at the beginning when you've got your little bit of water in there. And that just adds, again, the fat to kind of make it more substantial in your meal. I vary where I put the fat, whether it's like coconut in my rice or coconut in my beans, or whether I'm putting peanut butter in my mchicha or peanut butter in my beans. And so I'm not going to put it in just this meal because I already have some coconut that I'm going to be putting in my rice. And that way I can kind of keep it balanced with my proteins and my fats and my vegetables. All right, for our meal, kind of think about it like Buddha bowls, right? You've got your grain, you've got your protein, and you've got your vegetables. We have like a bunch of onion and garlic and tomato in here as well.
So it kind of pans out to be pretty well rounded. We've got our fats from our coconut there. If you're going to eat it traditionally, you often have to eat it with your hands, which I think makes it taste even better. If you don't do rice, you can also do ugali, which is essentially like polenta, except for it's made with a white corn maize instead of a yellow corn. Here they don't oftentimes put in salt and like a broth, but I can't help myself. I have to do that, and even a little bit of butter. So, but this meal, we're just gonna do with our coconut rice and have our fats there. Enjoy this meal, it's wonderful. We really enjoyed it in our home and have it like once a week at least.